Here's a hot take. Broadway is cannibalizing itself. I'm like already ready for the comment section. Are you ready to talk about how we're getting in our own way? Because I think I am. Let's get into it. Hey friends, if you're new here, my name is Katharine Quinn. I'm a 30-something living in New York and working on Broadway. Last year, I assisted the writing teams of Shucked and How to Dance in Ohio. This year, I ran social media for The Roommate on Broadway, Spells of the Sea at the Kennedy Center. I'm currently running social media for The Great Gatsby on Broadway, Hip Hop Nutcracker on tour. More shows to be announced. As always, Vlog fam is first to know, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. And today, I think we're going to talk about an issue that people might find a little bit sensitive, but that has been driving me crazy for the past year in particular.
You know what's really driving me crazy?
And that is the sense that I have that we're sort of eating our young in the Broadway industry. Not even just our young, we're eating some of the olds too. We are competitive against one another, often to our own detriment. An issue that I've been circling around a lot lately is, first of all, Broadway perceives itself to be a community, but I usually only experience that community when something horrible has happened. There's been a death in the community, something like that. I find that it is a ruthlessly competitive community industry. And that's because there's a ton of fear. There's a lot of shows that fail, and the industry is kind of on fire right now. Our budgets are astronomical. Most shows are not making their money back. Our audiences are not fully back since pre-shutdown, and even pre-shutdown, 1 in 5 Broadway shows made their money back. It's incredibly high stakes. So I understand the impulse to stay in our little silo, protect ourselves, and cut everyone else out. By the same token, I am a big rising tide lifts all boats kind of gal. The brand of Broadway is in a lot of trouble, and I think that we have some unpacking to do and some actions that we need to take. Okay, so just to set the scene, we're going to talk a little bit about the current landscape. There are 41 Broadway theaters, and as of the time of recording this video, we have 35 shows open on Broadway. That's a lot of entertainment competing for tourists, but as I've often said, there are 400,000 tourists who walk through Times Square every single day, and if we only captured a tenth of those tourists, every single seat on Broadway would be full. So we have the tourists. How do we capture them? That's a whole other video. We'll talk about it another time. The point is that these 41 theaters are all competing for the tourists, the press coverage, the attention, the money. And this happens because Broadway is commercial theater. It's not a nonprofit. We are not mission-driven. Legally, we are not mission-driven. We are commercial entities. Every single Broadway show is a company. The producer is effectively the CEO. It has stakeholders. And success is measured show by show, not industry-wide, which is an issue when you talk about the Broadway community because everyone is operating in their own distinct silo. Which leads me to why we're so competitive with one another. And I touched on it a second ago. We're scared.
You're down right, I'm afraid. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid.
Of course, there's a scarcity mindset. It's a terrifying time. Shows are failing all the time. The churn rate is insane. We have rising production costs, declining attendance, increasing competition with other entertainment options, and shortened runs. This competition most certainly extends to marketing, which is the universe that I am now operating in. The competition between agencies drives me insane. It is easy for me to say ? Because I'm not a massive agency. I don't have a giant overhead office in Midtown. Part of me wishes I did. It's fine, but I don't want the market share that the big Broadway agencies have. So much like how we have like 3 primary theater owners, there are really like 5 big agencies on Broadway, really 3 or 4 big agencies on Broadway. They have like the bulk of the market share. They have relationships with the producers, theater owners, the press people, the social media, all the things. I don't want the competition because I don't want 80% market share. I want, as I've been saying, 4 shows. I want 4 shows that are my baby. I protect them. I care about them deeply, emotionally. I am essentially helping produce the digital brand of the show. Therefore, I don't care if you have 30 shows. I'm over here with my 4, and I'm gonna cheer you on, and you should cheer me on because Broadway has a problem, and we all need to be working on it. This competition between agencies is bananas. Like, people from different agencies don't talk to each other. Like, when I first joined a show, a social media director from a competing agency was like, Hey, we have a group chat of all the social media directors, and we talk shit about you. First of all, I'm honored. Second of all, how sad. What are we doing? I guess it's good that they're bored enough that that's the topic. But like, could we maybe put the energy towards the new kid? I don't know. To the projects we're working on creatively? If we are all only focusing on our individual shows, as opposed to Broadway, we are on a house of cards. I have seen a small indication that the Broadway League is starting a little baby campaign that will help a tiny bit with branding. We need comprehensive branding across Broadway. I would like to see show-and-show collaborations. I would like to see subscription packages. Is that going to happen? No, because producers are also very catty and also very protective of their... It's literally like children in the schoolyard. It's crazy. I love this industry and I love the people in it, and not everyone is this way. It's just been like a little womp-womp experiencing the scarcity mindset, and it's because everyone is scared. We're hurting ourselves. I love making hype videos about shows that I'm not working on. I love hyping other agencies that are doing really good work. When the house is on fire and you see people doing good things, it should not matter who like put that bucket of water on the house that's on fire. You should be excited and then like help them. I don't know if I'm making any sense. This is just something I've been feeling so hard for the last year. Like, even within an agency, like the amount of politics that I've had to like circumvent to get answers from people, or like press is being protective of their things, or every department within marketing is so like protective of their own little space. But it's like, y'all, no wonder everything takes 100 years to get done. We are all working on the same project, and we're all working in the same industry, and we all need more audiences, except for Romeo and Juliet because of Kit Connor and Rachel Zegler. And great work, but also. And this leads to, I have notes we're gonna reference. All the agencies are competing for the same shows, but similar strategies are being used across different productions because the theater owners are not incentivized to make a show a long runner, and they don't care because there's always a tenant waiting in the wings, i.e. another show. Agencies are marketing a new show every frickin' minute. There's no way the people inside all of these Broadway agencies are not just coasting on extreme burnout or doing, frankly, super subpar work because you can't even afford to get attached to a show knowing it's probably going to leave. But your job is literally to sell the show. Show is going to partially fail because you're exhausted because the theater owners aren't doing anything to assist with the longevity of a show, particularly if it's a mid-sized budget show. Wow. Really having a lot of big thoughts here. Okay, so here's this is not what this video is about, and it's really not as streamlined as I'd hoped. But here are what I think are the biggest problems with Broadway and Broadway marketing right now. Number one, Broadway has a massive brand problem. Because we're operating in silos, because we're competing against each other, a rising tide is not lifting all boats. We're all operating in our own little silos. I just keep saying that word, but we're all operating just like in our own little island, and we need to be a nation. Number two, social media is the new word of mouth. If your show opens, you just started your social media, even rehearsals, you're too damn late. You should have started your social media campaign in rehearsals, and you should have called me about it last workshop or reading that you do before you're out of town. If you were calling me the week that your show goes on sale, literally, what are you doing? I'll do my damnedest. And I know that like theaters come a mile a minute. It's like you never know when something opens up, and that's fine. But like, give a girl time. These things take strategy. Okay, so what have we learned so far? Broadway has a brand problem. Broadway League, I need you to kick it into gear. We need massive campaigns for the brand that is Broadway. We need Times Square incentives. We need partnership with New York & Co. We need to like get our shit together. Second of all, everyone needs to be investing more money in social media, and I'm talking about organic social media in addition to paid digital media, but primarily organic social media. You need to be investing in it earlier, and more dollars have to go to it. Organic social media is not some kid with their iPhone posting some thoughtless video. It can be that, but it's also about a million other things, and it takes a ton of strategy and time. You've got to do that earlier, and your investment will pay off, but you have to rethink your budgets. You need to offer access to your marketing team to do the work that they need to do. This doesn't take a ton of time out of rehearsal. This is just like your single content shoot. It just needs to be done really brilliantly. Fabulous. Great. The marketing team. Everybody needs to get along. Everybody needs to share assets with each other if they're on the same show. This feels super logical to me. Press should not be afraid of social media. Social media should not be afraid of press. They should work beautifully in tandem and trust each other to get messaging out simultaneously. Love that for us. Then, I don't even remember what this video is about. Oh, silos. Then, theater owners, I need you to cool it on the rent a little bit, because now I have seen the numbers and I know what the profit margins are for theaters, and I appreciate that you have no incentivization. Yeah. Anyway, I have a master's degree, it's fine. But if you could just lower the rent a little bit, our production costs are insane and you're making a lot of money. No one else is. So help us out, do us a solid. Maybe take a bigger proportion if we are making money and a tinier amount on rent. Then what's happening? Okay, we fixed the social media budget. Someday we're gonna live stream theater, but we don't have to worry about that issue today. Theater owners, they're gonna cool it on the rent. Incentives. Because the theater owners are going to cool it on rent, and because we can afford to have started our word of mouth, i.e. social media, well before the production's even in rehearsal or even has its out of town, and we've been building the anticipation, and the theater owner is going to cool it on rent, we can stay in the theater a little bit longer, which means that the agencies can stop freaking the F out, and they don't have to worry as much about churn, and they can really continue to get invested in their new baby, this show, or this not even new baby, this toddler baby, their show. Then, because they have all this confidence that their show is a long runner and they're gonna do freaking great, they can celebrate the success of other shows on Broadway. Meanwhile, the Broadway League is doing so much good work about the brand of Broadway. TDF is doing so much good work about the brand of Broadway. The American Theater Wing is doing so much good work. The Tony Awards are doing so much good work about the brand of Broadway. We are reaching people where they are in the new digital age. It's not even really that new, but the digital age. And then someday we're gonna work on live streaming and pro shots. But I really think those things, those 5 things, us being less catty to one another, putting more budgets in organic social media earlier, digital media in general, fixing the brand of Broadway, less of a fear-based attitude internally within a marketing team, and theater owners cooling it on rent. I did it. I know. But wouldn't it be nice? Okay, should I get back to my notes? Sorry for the diatribe. What if instead of all this competition where it was I'm gonna take your audience, and I hope your show closes so that I can take that audience. What if we tried to reach, wait for it, new audiences? What if we had more collaborative marketing? What if we had joint promotional campaigns? What if we shared audience data? What? Crazy. What if we had more industry-wide initiatives? Joint technological innovations? Because friends, we have to rethink this. What we're doing right now is not working. It's not working. I want us to rethink competition, share resources, build collective strength, and support industry-wide initiatives. I know this was a wild one. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I desperately want to know your thoughts. Please leave them down in the comments. As always, I invite you to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, clicking subscribe actually does make a huge difference to me as a new YouTube creator. Liking, commenting, subscribing is what's going to let the YouTube algorithm know what wonderful people to push this video out to, people just like you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and oh my god, I'm excited for the comment section. See you there.